Welcome to 7th grade math. On the screen, you'll see the answer to the first uh, homework problem from the problem solving investigation. And now on to today's lesson. Mini lab. Measure the length of each item in a room, such as a gymnasium. Drawing on the right shows a local gym, and each square unit represents 2 feet, so 4 units equals 8 feet. 4 times 2 equals 8. Name the actual lengths of the following items. Bleacher. How long is the bleachers? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 squares. So the bleacher is 14 feet. What about the door? Door has 2 squares, so 2 times 2 is 4 feet. A map is an example of a scale drawing. Scale drawings and scale models. They are used to represent objects that are too large or too small to be drawn or built at actual size. So in this case, a gym is too large to draw an actual size because you would need a giant piece of paper. Scale gives a ratio that compares the measurements of the drawing or model to the measurements of the real object. The measurements on a drawing or model are proportional to measurements of the actual object. Example, use a scale map. 1. Maps. What is the actual distance between Hagerstown and Annapolis? Step 1. Use a centimeter ruler to find the map distance between the two cities. The map distance is about 4 centimeters. Step 2. Write and solve a proportion using the scale. Let D represent the actual distance between the cities. So the scale is 1 centimeter on the map equals 24 actual miles. And the length of 4 centimeters on the map equals how many miles, or D miles. So 1 centimeter on the map, and we have 4 centimeters on the map, and the actual miles for 1 centimeter is 24. So we have to find out what the actual distance in miles is for 4 centimeters on the map. And to do that, we're going to use cross products. So we end up getting 1 times D equals 24 times 4. Multiply. D equals 96. The distance between the cities is about 96 miles. Scaffolding questions. The photo on the right shows a couch, a lamp, and a dog. The couch is 8 foot long, but in the photo, it is 8 inches long. If the lamp is 3 foot tall, how tall will it be in the photo? 3 inches. If the dog is 2 inches long in the photo, how long is it in real life? 2 feet. Check your progress. Maps. On the map of Arkansas shown, find the actual distance between Clarksville and Little Rock. Use a ruler to measure. So we have 1 centimeter equals 20 miles, and we have 4 centimeters between Clarksville and Little Rock on the map. So on the map, 1 centimeter equals 20 miles, and our measurement is 4 centimeters, and it equals how many miles? Or in this case, we're going to use D. So we're going to use cross products, multiply 1 times D and 4 times 20, and that will give us D equals 80. The distance between the cities is about 80 miles. And a map scale can be written in different ways, including the following. So we can write it as 1 centimeter equals 20 miles, 1 centimeter to 20 miles, or 1 centimeter of 20 miles, over 20 miles. A blueprint is another example of a scaled drawing. So we're going to do an example using a blueprint scale. Number 2, decks. On the blueprint of the deck, each square has a side length of a 1/2 inch. What is the actual width of the deck? So we have, how many squares do we have across? We have 4. So the deck on the blueprint is 2 inches wide, and we need to write and solve a proportion using the scale. Let W represent the width, and our scale will be a 1/2 inch over 4 feet. So on the scale, a 1/2 inch equals 4 feet, and the width is 2 inches equals W, over W feet. Sorry. Blueprint 1/2 inch, and on the blueprint 2 inches. Actual 1/2 inch is 4 feet, and the actual is, we need to figure out how many feet 2 inches on the blueprint are. So we're going to cross products. 1/2 times W equals 4 times 2. We get 1/2 W equals 8. And we know that 1/2 times W is multiplication, so we need to undo that. And we'll divide that out, but as you know, you can't divide fractions. So we will multiply 1/2 W by 2, which is the reciprocal of 1/2. And then we'll multiply 8 by 2, which is also the reciprocal of 1/2. And scales and scale factors are always written so the drawing length comes first in the ratio. So length. Check your progress. B, interior design. On the blueprint of the living room, each square has a side length of a 1/4 inch. What are the actual dimensions of the living room? We're going to let X represent the actual width. So a 1/4 inch, which is the size of one of the squares, is 1.5 inches. And we're looking at 2 inches because there are 8 squares. And that's going to equal X number of feet. So again, the numerators are the blueprint measurement, and the denominator is the actual measurement. And in order to do this, solve this, we're going to cross products. So we're going to have 1/4 X equals 2 times 1.5. We're going to multiply 1/4 X equals 3. Because if we multiply 2 times 1.5, we're really going to multiply 2 times 3 halves. So it'd be 2 over 1 times 3 halves, which is 6 over 2, which is 3. And then if we multiply the reciprocal of 1/4 times both sides, we'll get X equals 12. Now we have to solve for the width. So we're going to let W represent the actual width. So the scale is the same. It's 1/4 equals 1.5. And our measurement changes because there's only 7 squares for the width. So we're going to have 1 3/4 inches equals W feet. We're going to cross multiply. 1/4 W equals 1 3/4 times 1.5. Do the actual multiplication. Make improper fractions. Multiply them out. And then we'll have to divide 1/4 from both sides. And because we can't divide fractions, we're going to multiply the reciprocals. And we get 21 halves, which we will simplify to 10.5. So the actual dimensions are 12 by 10.5 feet. Use a scale model. Number 3, phones. A graphic artist is creating an advertisement for a new cell phone. If she uses a scale of 5 inches equals 1 inch, what is the length of the cell phone on the advertisement? So the phone is actually smaller than the advertisement. We're going to write a proportion using the scale. Let A represent the length of the advertisement cell phone. So the scale is 5 inches on the drawing equals 1 inch. So A inches, how many inches is it going to take to represent 4 inches? Advertisement is the numerator and the actual is the denominator. Cross products, 4 times 5 and 1 time equals 1 times A. We'll multiply that out. 20 equals. Check your progress. Scooters. A scooter is 3.5 feet long. Find the length of a scale model of the scooter if the scale is 1 inches equals 3/4 feet. Write a proportion using the scale and let M represent the length of the model scooter. So the scale is 1 inch equals 3/4 feet. And the length we need to determine is 8 inches to equal 3.5 feet. So we're going to use cross products and we're going to multiply 1 times 3.5 and 3/4 times A. We multiply it out, we get 3 1/4. 1 times 3.5, and then 3/4 A. And then we have to multiply 3/4 times its reciprocal because we're going to divide 3/4 away from A. We have to do the reciprocal. So we get 4/3 times 3/4 A. That's easy to see, it's a reciprocal. And over here we had to change 3.5 into an improper fraction and then multiply it times 4/3, because whatever we do to this side, we have to do to the other side. So now we're going to simplify, and we'll just start finding common factors until they're all gone. And we get 14/3 equals A, and we can't leave it as an improper fraction, so we're going to get 4 2/3 equals A. In lesson 6.4, you used ratios to convert units. You can use a similar method to simplify a scale. A scale written as a ratio without units in simplest form is called the scale factor. 1/4 inch over 2 feet is a scale. Convert feet to inches. So we're going to change, we're going to keep 1/4 inch, but we're going to change 2 feet to inches. So 2 times 12 is 24. And then we're going to multiply by 4/4 to eliminate fraction in the numerator. So we have 4/4 times 1/4 inch over 24 inches. But now we're going to simplify all of this to find out what the scale is. So just for visual, we'll say it's 4/1 times 1/4 all over 4 times 24. So that's that 4/1 in the numerator is that 4 right there. And the 4 in the denominator is the bottom 4 of the 4/4. So we'll divide out the common units and we'll also divide out the common factors. So we get rid of those 4's and we get rid of inch and inch, and we end up with 196. Example, find a scale factor. Number 4, sailboats. Find the scale factor of a model sailboat if the scale is 1 inch equals 6 feet. So 1 inch equals 6 feet, and we'll make it into a fraction. And we're going to convert feet to inches, so we're going to need to multiply the 6 feet times 12 to get 72. And we end up with 1 inch over 72 inches. Divide out the common units, get rid of inches, and our scale factor is 1 over 72. Check your progress. What is the scale factor of a model car if the scale is 1 inch equals 2 feet? So we need to get this into a fraction, 1 inch over 2 feet, and we need to convert the feet to inches. So 1 over 24, 2 times 12 is 24. And then we're going to divide out the common units, which is inches, and we get 1/24. Additional examples. Number 1, maps. What is the actual distance between Portland and Olympia? We'll let M represent the actual miles. So our scale is 3/8 inch equals 23 miles. And you can see that on the bottom left-hand corner of the map. And then our distance, I have it as length, but it's our distance, is, if you look at the ruler, notice that I've marked 3/8. So you'll know that every time we mark one of those, every 3/8, it's going to be 23 miles. So there's 6/8. If you're looking at the ruler, there's 9/8, 12/8, 14/8. So we have 14/8 over M. And we know that the numerator represents the distance on the map, and the denominator marks the distance in real life. So we're going to cross products, and we have 3/8 times M equals 23 times 14/18. And then we multiply, and we end up with 3/8 M equals 322 over 8. Now we have to undo the 3/8 in the M, right? So that means division, because 3/8 M is 3/8 times M. So we're going to divide by 3/8, which means we're really going to multiply by the reciprocal. So we have 8/3 times 3/8 M equals 322 over 8 times 8/3. Remember, if we multiply or do anything to the left side of the equation, we have to do the same thing to the right side of the equation so that we don't change the value. So we're going to simplify now, which is going to make this much easier for us to do. And we get 322 over 3. And we're not going to leave it as an improper fraction, so we're going to turn it into a mixed number, which is 107 1/3. So for those of you using calculators, make sure that you are leaving it as a fraction, not a decimal. Additional example number 2, architecture. On the blueprint of a new house, each square has a side length of 1/4 inch. So if you look at the image on the right, it tells you each 1/4 inch equals 2.5 feet. If the length of a bedroom on the blueprint is 2.5 inches, what is the actual length of the room? So our scale is 1/4 inch equals 2.5 feet. And we have 1.5 inches in our drawing over X feet. So we need to determine what X is. So again, our blueprint measurements are in the numerator, and the actual size of the bedroom is in the denominator. We're going to cross multiply to get the cross products. 1/4 times X equals 2.5 times 1.5. We need to change everything to improper fractions so that we can multiply and divide, because when we're multiplying and dividing fractions, we cannot do mixed numbers. And now we're going to multiply, and we get 1/4 W equals 15/4. So now we need to get W all by itself. So we have to break or undo 1/4 W. And to do that, we're going to divide 1/4 to undo the multiplication that exists there. And remember, we cannot divide fractions, so we have to multiply it by its reciprocal, and we're going to have to multiply both sides by the reciprocal. So now we're going to simplify. We're going to get X equals 15. Additional examples, number 3, photography. A model is being created from a picture frame which has a length of 4 3/4 inches. If the scale to be used is 8 inches equals 1 inch, what is the length of the model? So the scale is 8 inches over 1 inch. And the length is A inches. We're going to use A as the variable over 4 3/4 inches. We're going to multiply to get the cross products. So we're going to have 8 times 4 3/4 equals 1 times A. Write improper fractions and then simplify. We can't multiply 8 times 4 3/4, so we have to change 4 3/4 to an improper fraction. Now we're going to simplify. The reason that we can simplify 8 and 4 is, remember, 8 can also be stated as 8 over 1. So we are multiplying a numerator and a denominator, or simplifying. Now we multiply, we get 38 over 1 equals A. And if we simplify that out, A equals 38. Additional examples, number 4. Find the scale factor of a blueprint if the scale is a 1/2 inch equals 3 feet. So we're going to set it up 1/2 inch over 3 feet. And we need to convert 3 feet into inches. So 3 times 12 is 36. And we get 1/2 inch over 36 inches. We're going to multiply by 2 2's or 2 halves to eliminate fraction in the numerator. So just like the previous example where we multiplied 4/4, I'm going to just visually show you that 2 halves times the fraction 1/2 over 36. You really can state it this way, just visually, so that you understand how we're able to simplify this. So we're going to simplify those, and then we're going to get rid of the inches, and it's 1 over 72. Okay, here's your homework for tonight. Head on over to Google Classrooms to submit it. I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you in class.